Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. So right off the bat guys, as you guys can see, I'm actually in a Pokemon TCG tournament. So this is actually a test sort of tournament at the moment. So this event's actually going to last 72 hours. It actually started earlier on today. I actually just found out about it maybe an hour or so ago. So I mean, how I actually found out is that I came straight from home and then I usually set up a few trades. It was a little bit late, so I was probably going to call it a night, but then I saw this and I got really excited, and I decided, heck, I might as well give you guys sort of a basic breakdown as to how tournaments are actually like, and then I'll be also showing you guys what deck I'm actually using. So I'm actually using a Landorus EX, Lucario EX, and Crobat type of deck. Hopefully, I mean, you guys will get an idea of how the deck actually is in the game. So let's go right ahead and actually discuss briefly how tournaments work. So basically, you get to choose your format. So in my case, I actually chose the standard format. It's single elimination, so if you actually do lose once, unfortunately, you get knocked out. So just a total of 3 rounds. So this would have been the first round. I actually didn't record. Well, I was recording the fight between my opponent, but he essentially disconnected midway in the game after he knew he was going to lose, and he didn't reconnect. So I didn't really want to show you guys a video of me essentially doing absolutely nothing for 5 minutes, so I decided to skip that. But anyways, so this is sort of the basic details of this tournament. So there's 8 players. Of course, as you guys can see, 8 players started off. So we are, again, it's single elimination, so I'm going to be facing TJ Hobbles hopefully soon. But let's see, so the entry requirement for this tournament was actually a total of 6 tournament tickets. One thing I do want to say about tournament tickets, guys, is that this is going to be a very sort of powerful type of Pokemon currency. I mean, you pretty much have to either buy yourself new tournament tickets, or you're going to have to earn them through tournaments by actually investing, I believe it was 55 tokens to play a tournament, so that you can actually win some tournament tickets. So that's going to be rough. So this is, I mean, if you guys do have an opportunity, definitely do try to stock up on tournament tickets, because I mean, I believe the price is somewhere outrageous. I actually haven't taken a look at it personally myself, but I believe it was approximately $10 for 10 tickets or something. I mean, that's quite absurd. But looks like the next round is going to be starting in a couple of seconds, guys. Looks like Pom Pom was actually the winner. But again, there's some very nice prizes for us when we actually win. So the next round of the tournament is going to begin in 60 seconds. So I mean, first place winner actually gets a total of 6 booster packs, 2 of them actually being the Phantom Forces and 4 of them being random. Second place gets a total of 3 booster packs, 2 of them being random and 1 of them being the Phantom Forces booster pack. And third and fourth place get 1 booster pack each, being a Phantom Forces, and then first to fourth place get 8 tokens, and fifth to eighth place get 50 tokens regardless. So okay guys, so it looks like the round is going to start in a couple of seconds. Again, I am using a Landorus EX Crobat type deck. Hopefully I'll be able to show it to you guys within the next intermission if the battle between me and my opponent doesn't last too long. But again, sorry, this is a somewhat atypical video. I know you guys definitely do like me to actually look ahead. Sorry, give you guys the deck breakdown ahead. But unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity this time because, again, Pokemaniac was just wasting a lot of time. And again, I didn't really want to include that in the video. And I mean, I really want to make the most out of this tournament. So really hoping that we do perform as well as I would like to. And looks like our opponent's probably going to be using a Virizion EX, Genesect EX type of deck, I'm assuming, just because I see Grass Pokemon and a metal Pokemon. I'm assuming that metal is the Jirachi EX. Okay, so the basic idea of our deck actually, guys, is that we want to try and set up our Lucario EX and Landorus EX, and of course our Zubats, and evolve them into Crobats, just so that we can sort of stockpile the damage to our opponent's Pokemon. Okay, and it looks like our opponent's actually using a Klefki. I mean, you guys will absolutely get a better idea of what, again, what our deck is actually trying to do. So I'm going to go right ahead and use the Juniper right off the bat, because hopefully I can set up our bench with a couple of Zubats. And what's so beautiful about the Lucario EX is we're going to be focusing on using his Corkscrew Smash attack, which will allow us to draw 6 cards in our hand. So this allows us for more flexibility with respects to using cards like Ultra Ball and discarding cards from our hand, just so that we can go right ahead and draw on some more cards. I feel like our opponent's going to be relatively easy. Looks like he's not using particularly powerful Pokemon. So this is another, I guess, oh, okay, so it looks like he does have some of the good EXs, so that's definitely good. So let's see, Klefki, I will be able to get rid of him with our Corkscrew Smash attack. So I'm going to go right ahead and evolve the Golbat and deal 20 damage to the Aegis/EX. I feel like he could be a troubling Pokemon later on. And then let's go right ahead and attach another Rock Energy to our Lucario EX. I guess, yes, so I'm going to go right ahead and grab the Karina, grab ourselves out a second Lucario EX, and then I'm going to go on and grab ourselves an Ultra Ball, just so that we can get rid of some of our supporters in our hand, and use the Corkscrew Smash attack, again, just to help us draw some cards. So let's go right ahead and get rid of the Juniper, and the N. I feel like a Colress is actually going to be the supporter card that I'm most likely going to be using next turn. And let's go right ahead and set ourselves up another Zubat, place him down in our bench, again just to try and stockpile that damage with our Crobat base deck. Let's go right ahead and knock out our opponent's Klefki and draw an additional 3 cards in our hand and draw a prize card. So Lucario EX definitely works very, very nice. He actually, I would say he's actually probably more so of the main attacker in our deck as opposed to the Landorus EX. But of course, I mean, it sort of depends on the situation. In some cases, Landorus EX is going to be better just to try and knock out our opponent's weak bench Pokemon, for example, because again, we are dealing some stockpile damage. Sorry, and another card that I actually am running in this deck is the AZ card. This is pretty much just so we can get our whole evolution line going once again. I mean, you guys are going to get an idea of how that works. So let's go right ahead and evolve our Golbat into the Crobat. They'll deal 3 damage counters to our opponent's Aegis/EX. I'm not actually going to play this yet, and I will actually try and get rid of our opponent's Aegis/EX nice and early. So let's go right ahead and attach the Strong Energy to our Hawlucha for now. And I guess I'm gonna go right ahead and Lysander him, use our Corkscrew Smash attack once again to draw an additional 3 cards in our hand. Unfortunately, we didn't actually deal out enough damage, but we do have the Golbat at hand now. So as soon as I actually do evolve our Pokemon, that Aegis/EX is gonna go bye-bye, and we're going to draw an additional 2 prize cards. So as you guys can see, this deck is already functioning quite nicely. It looks like our opponent's actually going to NS. That's okay. It looks like we actually did draw onto the Karina, so I'm probably going to use it on our turn. And looks like our opponent's actually going to retreat. I mean, unfortunately, that's not going to be saving his Aegis/EX. Actually, I'm going to go right ahead and use the AZ and get our whole line going once again. So let's go right ahead and bring these Pokemon back into our hand, evolve our Zubat into the Golbat, and get rid of that Aegis/EX to draw an additional 2 prize cards. So let's go right ahead and do that. I mean, of course, you guys are definitely getting a good idea of how this deck actually runs. Going to go right ahead and place another Zubat into our bench. And I'm going to go and use the Professor's Letter to draw in 2 energy cards from our deck into our hand. I believe we're running a total of 10 rock energies. And I'm actually going to go right ahead and go for the knockout. Corkscrew Smash, unfortunately, isn't going to come in handy this turn. So let's go right ahead and use the Somersault Kick and get rid of that Skarmory to draw a prize card. And I don't really foresee our opponent, unfortunately, coming back from this. Looks like we've had a very, very powerful start. Our opponent's Dialga EX does have 180 damage, 180 HP, so he may actually be able to survive, but hopefully he doesn't. I mean, I will be evolving. No, actually, I don't think he will. I'll be using our Karina to actually look for an Ultra Ball, and then I'm going to go right ahead and stockpile a little bit of damage using our whole Zubat Golbat line. So let's go right ahead and evolve our Pokemon into the Crobat. Deal 3 damage counters to opponent's Aegis/EX, Dialga EX. Let's go right ahead and use that Karina. No Pokemon, but that's okay. We're looking for the, you know what? Let's see. Yeah, computer search works too, I guess. Just in case, you never know. Let's go right ahead and use that computer search and win the game. So either a Strong Energy or the Golbat will be enough to actually allow us to win. So let's go right ahead and grab out the Golbat and deal out the final 1-hit KO to our opponent's Pokemon. Let's go right ahead and use the Somersault Kick attack and draw our remaining 2 prize cards. And okay, so that was the first battle for us, guys. So there's still the final battle, and looks like our opponent is actually still going. So I'm actually going to go right ahead and give you guys a basic sort of overview as to the deck that I am using. So let's see if I can actually find it. I have quite a few decks. Lots of them which I've sort of dismantled. Let's see, sorry, there we go. So there's our Landorus Crobat type of deck. So this is the basic overview, guys. Also, sorry, one thing I do want to mention about the tournaments is, again, they're only for this weekend, more or less. So I highly recommend you guys do use them. I don't actually know when PTCGO is actually going to be bringing back the tournaments once again. So definitely, again, guys, use them as much as you can. We don't know if the next one's not going to be for a couple of months later on or anything, or if this tournament test is going to have been a complete success or a complete failure. But okay, so getting on to the discussion of the deck. Again, I'm going to keep this relatively brief just because I feel like we're probably going to get into our next battle soon. So we're using our Hawlucha pretty much for his retreating ability, his resistance, and that Donphan would not be dealing too much damage to him. I mean, definitely a nice useful Pokemon, and of course the fact that with his Flying Press attack he can do 60 damage to our opponent's EX Pokemon, but can very, very easily sort of increase that. But I mean, Hawlucha isn't necessarily a main attacker in our deck. That's more so going to be reserved for our Landorus EX. We're going to be focusing on using his Hammerhead attack. Of course, it works very nicely with respects to our Crobat and Zubat line, and that we're going to be dealing those damage counters and can sort of stockpile them into our opponent's Pokemon in such a way that our Landorus EX would hopefully be able to knock out both our opponent's active Pokemon and one of his bench Pokemon. But of course, as you guys did see, Lucario EX is actually our main attacker. We're going to be focusing on using his Corkscrew Smash attack. So hopefully we'll be able to use the Ultra Balls to discard of some cards that we don't particularly need into our hands and sort of get that whole Zubat and Crobat line going. While our Lucario EX is going to be repeatedly hammering our opponent with his Corkscrew Smash attack and allowing us to draw cards. So hopefully we can really, really speed up that whole evolution line going. So Lucario EX, absolutely the main attacker of our deck. Of course, these Pokemon, I mean, you guys should be relatively familiar with him. I have used them in a few videos, but we're going to be using their abilities. So for example, the Surprise Bite attack that the Crobat has, and the Sneaky Bite attack that our Golbat has, of course, to stockpile that damage. Some other cards that we are running as well, guys, is we are going to be running the Computer Search as our A-Spec card in this deck. We're also going to be running one Max Potion, definitely nice, especially if we do have to resort to using our Landorus EX's Hammerhead attack, sorry, not his Hammerhead attack, his Land Judgment attack, and forcing us more or less to discard all of our energies. So Max Potion is just generally a very nice and flexible card to include irrespective of the type of deck you are using. So we're going to be running just one copy of this. We're running a total of 11 energy cards, guys. So we are going to be actually running a Professor's Letter as well. It might come in handy, especially since we are running a total of 3 Korinas just to help us grab any type of item cards that we actually need. Again, we're running the basic sort of standard supporter cards, the 4 Professor Junipers, 4 Ends, 2 Lysanders, and 2 Colress. We are actually running 2 AZ again, 2 AZ as well. The purpose of the AZ is, as you guys did see actually in the video, is that it actually allows us to evolve our Zubat line all over again, and just to help us continuously pump out those little damage counters. I mean, it's not particularly a lot. I mean, actually evolving our Zubat into Crobat only deals 20 damage, and evolving our Golbat into the Crobat deals 30 damage. But at the rate that we're actually playing with respects to our Landorus EX just dealing bench damage and Lucario EX just allowing us to draw a whole bunch of cards, AZ works very, very nicely in this deck. I mean, the damage definitely does add up over time, and it's definitely a very easy way to knock out our opponent's non-EX Pokemon particularly. So that's the function of AZ. So we are going to be running 2 copies of him in our deck. We're also going to be running 2 Starling Megaphones. Again, you guys have heard me describe this card many times before, but the main purpose of this is to pretty much get rid of our opponent's tool attachments, namely speaking our opponent's Garbodor, just so that he doesn't nullify our Crobat line's special abilities. So that's pretty much why we're actually running 2 Starling Megaphone, guys. We're also going to be running 2 Switches, pretty self-explanatory card, 2 VS Seekers, again a card that I don't necessarily feel I really need to describe to you guys. We're going to be running a total of 3 Fighting Stadiums. So this pretty much allows our fighting type Pokemon to dish out an additional 20 damage to our opponent's defending EX Pokemon. So definitely quite nice, since we are running more or less pretty much fighting type Pokemon, except of course our Crobats, which aren't really going to be attackers, of course. So Fighting Stadium, definitely nice. We're going to be running 3 of them just to act as number 1 as a counter stadium, and number 2 just as a powerful sort of damage booster with respects to our Pokemon. And we're also going to be running 3 Muscle Bands, again a very self-explanatory card, not really going to go into much detail with respects to this. We're going to be running 7 Fighting Energy and 4 Strong Energy. It looks like this tournament's actually dragging out a little bit. hopefully our opponents actually aren't wasting time. So I guess in the meantime, guys, I'm actually going to be showing you guys a little bit how to trade. So let's go right ahead and take a look at that. So as you guys can see, I have a whole bunch, well, actually not too many trades going on right now. I've had a whole bunch of them expire, but sort of the basic idea of trading is that you want to sort of gauge at how the public is. So there's many ways to actually profit from trading. So one of them actually is to try and see all the acceptable offers that you have, and then pretty much scroll down through the trades. Normally the regions that you do want to hit are the 759, 2359, and 4759 regions. Those are usually the areas where the best trades are, but again, they get scooped up very fast. So I feel like we're actually probably going to find some pretty awful trades right now, just because again, everybody knows that everybody's actually playing tournaments at the moment, so they're probably going to offer up some pretty horrible stuff just so that they can try and get the packs out of people. But I mean, this is also a somewhat of a positive in that we can actually sell our stuff for a lot more packs. So just quickly going to take a look and see if there are actually any trades that would actually be in our favor. So let's see if I can find the 759 mark. Sorry, it looks like I was going a little bit too fast. And okay, so 753, let's scroll down a little bit. Hopefully we do hit some nice trades. No, pretty awful. Not a good trade either. Again, a poor trade. So people are definitely trying to round up and gather the cards that they need. Not exactly a trade that I like. I mean, I do have the shiny muscle band, so I definitely don't think that it's worth it. So let's go right ahead, guys, and scroll down to the 2359 section. Again, this is just to sort of give you guys a basic idea. If it still seems like our opponents are going to be continuing the tournament, I'm going to be setting up some trades and sort of going over with you guys why I'm actually doing things. So given the fact that it actually is a tournament right now, my prices may actually be a little bit off, but I am going to try and get more for us. So let's see. So no particularly good trades here. One for Bank City Gym. Actually, this is a decent trade, but I'm not really interested in it, so I'm actually going to let it pass by. But again, this seems like a trade that may have actually been worth it. But the other trades, let's see. I don't particularly think so. No, definitely don't think that was a good trade. Some of the trades are just downright outrageous. This is not a good trade. I mean, Ganger Prime is actually worth a lot of packs. So let's go right ahead and scroll down to the 4759 sort of area. And if we can't actually find anything there, I'm gonna go right ahead and set up a couple of trades and sort of give you guys a brief breakdown with respects to what I'm doing. So let's see. Again, I don't think that any of these trades are good. Our opponents, sorry, not our opponents, our just these guys seem to be trying to make the most out of things. So let's go right ahead and set up some trades, guys. So okay, so what I actually do is I turn off my filter just so I can see all my cards, and I typically go and set up trades with my EX Pokemon. So Aegis/EX, I'm assuming that demand for him is actually going to be relatively high given the fact that there are a lot of players just sort of stockpiling on all these Phantom Forces packs. So I feel like a good price to sell them would actually be approximately 5 packs. Again, it's really good to sort of gauge the public trades just to see what are actually considered worthwhile sort of trades and what wouldn't be considered worthwhile trades. So I'm sure we can probably buy Aegis/EX for 3 or so packs quite easily. So we're actually going to go right ahead and sell them for 5 packs. So what I actually do is that when I actually do set up my trades, one of them I actually try to hit multiple time zones, because I know that some people are awake during certain parts of the day, whereas other people are awake during other parts of the day. So I'm actually going to set up one 8-hour trade, and then I'm actually going to go right ahead and do the exact same trade, but I'm going to set it up for 24 hours. Again, I just like to hit multiple time zones just to try and get the most out of our things. It looks like one of our opponents probably quit on our opponent or something like that. Not really sure what's going on, but there definitely are a lot of sore losers and people trying to take advantage of the tournament. So hopefully that's not the case for us, and hopefully it's just a very long and and crazy sort of battle going on with the two players facing off right now, but I don't really think that that's the case. So there we go. So it looks like we've actually set up our Age/EXs, and again, this is just sort of my trading techniques. Of course, you guys can differ. So given the fact that I have done that, I'm actually going to go right ahead and search for some more EX Pokemon that I actually do have. So let's go right ahead. I'm actually only collecting full art, so this isn't particularly an offer in my favor, but it's just to try and get rid of this Black Kyurem EX and hopefully switch it into a better card. So I like to limit my options to full arts, of course, because that's pretty much the cards that I'm actually collecting. And then I take a look. Again, 4 is pretty much more or less what I'm actually collecting of each card. So let's see a card that I think is relatively worth. Okay, so it looks like the next round of the tournament's actually going to start relatively soon. So I'm gonna go right ahead and look for one Entei-EX. Not exactly a trade that would be in our opponent's favor, but I feel like someone may actually grab the Black Kyurem EX. Of course, we don't actually know, so let's go right ahead and set that up. And I'm actually going to go right ahead and pay attention to the tournament. Again, don't want to be setting up too many trades and accidentally get kicked out or anything like that. Again, I'm really hoping that the battle between Dippy and Pom Pom wasn't just one of them sort of stalling and trying to get the other player to quit. So hopefully I do win, guys, because if I actually am the winner, I get a total of 6 booster packs, 4 of them being random. Absolutely awesome. We can actually get some of the booster packs that we're not getting from the mystery boxes, so the Boundaries Crossed and the Plasma Blast, Plasma Freeze, and Plasma Storm booster packs. So really hoping that we actually do perform well. I mean, the worst possible matchup that I can imagine us going across is probably going to be a Seismitoad EX type of deck or an Yveltal EX type of deck, and it looks like we're probably going to be facing an Yveltal EX type of deck. So hopefully we get to go first, and doesn't look like that's going to happen. And again, I'm really hoping that our opponent is not a time waster. Okay, so it doesn't look like it. Maybe it was just a very long, sort of drawn out battle. Just taking a look at some of the cards that our opponent has. Hopefully I can sort of gauge at his deck. But he is running Psychic and Dark Pokemon, and unfortunately our Lucario EX is weak to Psychic Pokemon. So, okay, so it looks like it's going to be a Seismitoad EX Garbodor type deck. Again, not the best sort of matchup for us. But okay, awesome. So that N, I would say, definitely worked in our favor. It looks like we got a couple of our Zubats, so hopefully we can get that line going. And I mean, if we can, okay, so it's actually a an Yveltal EX type of deck. Okay, I don't know how I accidentally missed that, but because I mean it was Darkness and Psychic. Awesome. So it looks like we actually have 3 Zubats into our bench. Of course, we're going to try and get rid of that Muscle Band attachment to our opponent's Trubbish. Let's go right ahead and attach a Rock Energy to our Yveltal and go right ahead and Colress for a new set of cards at hand. Awesome. And again, we only have 3 Zubats in our deck, so I'm going to go right ahead and actually attack. Yeah, I'm not sure why I actually wouldn't do that. I'm actually not going to play our Stadium card just yet, because I feel like our opponent's probably going to be running a couple of Hypnotoxic Lasers, things like that, and I want to sort of use it as a counter Stadium. And of course, our Fighting Stadium would not be able to increase the damage output that we would actually deal out with our Lucario EX just yet. Not actually sure where our opponent used a Pokemon Catcher. All of our Pokemon can actually retreat, of course, unless our opponent actually evolves his Trubbish into the Garbodor, which I'm assuming he's sort of banking on, given the fact that he did just end us for a new set of cards in his hand. I'm probably going to have to use N on our turn as well. And I'm going to go right ahead and place a Landorus EX down into our bench as well. Let's see if our opponent does have any Darkness Energies in his discard pile. And no, luckily he doesn't, but he was able to get rid of our Zubat. So that's definitely not nice. So I'm actually going to go right ahead and place the Landorus EX down and our Lucario EX down. Get rid of our opponent's Stadium card and attach a Rock Energy, a Fighting Energy to our Lucario EX. Let's go right ahead and end for a new set of cards in our hand. Unfortunately, nothing particularly good, and let's go right ahead and use the Corkscrew Smash attack. Still just 40 damage because our opponent's Yveltal unfortunately has resistance to our Pokemon. But I will be using the Korrina next turn to try and get our sort of Golbat line going, and I'll definitely be getting rid of this Yveltal on our turn by attaching a Rock Energy to our Lucario EX, and most likely I'm going to be using the Somersault Kick attack just to get rid of him. And it looks like our opponent actually did draw onto the Garbodor, so I'm probably going to have to switch plans and actually use the Korrina to grab out a Startling Megaphone instead now. So okay, so actually attaching a Rock Energy would unfortunately no longer allow us to get the one-hit knockout. Or should I actually use a Colress? Actually, I think I'm going to be using the Colress, guys. I think it may be a slightly better option at this moment. So let's go right ahead and do that. And awesome. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't think it would be wise to evolve our Pokemon just yet because the Garbodor and its Garbotoxin ability has come into effect. So let's go right ahead and attach a Muscle Band to our Lucario EX and perform the one-hit knockout to oh, why? Oh, right, I completely forgot to account for the resistance. Really not thinking through right now. But again, the matchup that we're actually going against right now is a relatively poor matchup for us because our opponent's Yveltal does have resistance to our Pokemon, to our Pokemon's attacks, and his Garbodor has nullified our Crobat. So hopefully we're able to get rid of that Crobat. May just have to Lysander him out on our turn and get rid of him because he's going to be just a very annoying Pokemon for us to deal with. So again, I may have to just do that. And it looks like our opponent's going to switch out into his Yveltal EX and unfortunately perform the one-hit knockout on our Lucario EX. So I'm probably going to bring out our Hawlucha on our turn and just hit our opponent's Yveltal EX for 100 damage, or possibly our Landorus EX. Actually, our Landorus EX I think would be a better option just to get rid of that Yveltal as well on the bench, and we will still be able to dish out quite a bit of damage thanks to our Fighting Stadium. So I'm just gonna bring out the Hawlucha for now. I'm probably going to retreat him, but just temporarily at least the Hawlucha is going to be coming out. Okay, so hopefully we're able to draw onto something good. And no, nothing particularly good, but I'm gonna go right ahead and attach the Fighting Energy to our Landorus EX and go right ahead and use the N to get a new set of cards at hand. And another Crobat. Unfortunately, I don't want to use him just yet because that Garbodor is still there. So let's go right ahead and retreat and bring out our Landorus EX, hit our opponent for 50 damage, and hit his Yveltal for another 30 damage. May have to use the Karina on our turn to grab out a Max Potion or something like that, because that Yveltal EX is dishing out a whole lot of damage at the moment. Hopefully I am able to get rid of him soon because our opponent only needs 3 prize cards to win, so he definitely does have quite a nice start on us. So let's go right ahead and use the Karina to grab out a Max Potion. Hopefully we do have it in our bench, in our deck, and it looks like it's actually prized. Okay, so let's see what I should actually do right now. I'm gonna go right ahead and grab onto the computer search. Let's see if I were to get rid of that, and our Hawlucha EX would actually, yeah, so okay, awesome. So we're actually gonna go right ahead and use the computer search to get rid of our Lysander and a Rock Energy and grab ourselves out a Startling Megaphone. Probably should have actually grabbed that out with Karina. Quite foolish of me. So let's go right ahead and grab that out. I'm gonna go right ahead and place it to get rid of our opponent's tool attachments. Let's go right ahead and evolve our Zubat into the Golbat and pull 2 damage counters on our opponent's active Yveltal EX. Let's go right ahead and switch into our Hawlucha and perform the one-hit knockout on our opponent's Yveltal EX and draw 2 prize cards. Hopefully we're still able to make a comeback. Luckily we are actually able to draw onto the Max Potion, and it looks like that was a huge hit on our opponent's Pokemon. So hopefully we're able to make a comeback from now. Not exactly the greatest start. Again, quite foolish of me to use the Karina to grab out a computer search and then unnecessarily discard 2 of my cards. But I wasn't really thinking. I was really looking for that Max Potion, but I feel like this was actually a better sort of outcome that happened just because we were able to get rid of that Yveltal EX. And again, our opponent only needs 3 remaining energies. Absolutely going to be using the Max Potion on our turn unless our opponent actually does N us, which I don't think is going to happen. And okay, looks like it actually doesn't. Looks like it's actually not happening. So okay, that's nice. Probably going to be using the N on our turn. Looks like our Hawlucha is unfortunately asleep. Let's see. Yeah, let's go right ahead and get rid of that Yveltal and draw another prize card. Okay, and let's see what Pokemon our opponent actually decides to bring out. going to be evolving our Zubat as well into the Crobat, and then I'll be going to into our Golbat, and then I'm going to go right ahead and end. So let's go right ahead and dish out 2 damage counters on our opponent's Yveltal EX. Let's go and use the Max Potion to reset our Landorus EX's health, and let's go right ahead and end for a new set of cards at hand. Hopefully I'm able to draw into the switch. So nice I was, but I'm actually not able to attack right now. But I mean, I could absolutely attack with the Hawlucha. Definitely think that would be the wisest choice. So let's go right ahead and bring out our Crobat, retreat him, and hit our opponent's Yveltal EX for 100 damage. This is definitely getting to be a close game. Luckily, we do actually managed to draw onto the Professor Juniper, so it looks like this game can still go both ways. Our opponent is going to retreat his Yveltal EX, it seems, but if he actually does bring out his Malamar EX, not particularly a smart option for him, because he does have fighting weakness, so I would be able to knock him out relatively quickly, and our opponent is going to have to rely on a lot of luck to sort of dish out the maximum amount of damage with his Maximar. And I mean, looks like he's going to get rid of our Hawlucha. I mean, that's not particularly too surprising. Gonna go right ahead and bring out our Crobat just for now, and then I'm probably going to retreat him on our turn. Hopefully we are able to make a comeback and actually grab out the 6 prize booster pack winnings. Karina, would that be smart? I don't think so. So let's go right ahead and use the Juniper. And okay, so would I actually be able to win? And just sort of calculating the math right now. 70, 140, and yes, we actually would be able to win. So awesome! Looks like our deck. I mean, not just yet, but I mean, our opponent definitely doesn't stand really much of a chance anymore. I don't think so. So let's go right ahead and retreat our Pokemon, get rid of that Malamar EX, and dish out 30 damage to our opponent's Yveltal EX and draw 2 prize cards. It looks like this is going to be our game. So, I mean, as you guys can see, this deck performed very, very well, especially given the fact that I would say we had a relatively massive handicap against this Yveltal EX type of deck, just because of his resistance, and the fact that our opponent did actually heal his Yveltal quite a bit during the game. But definitely, guys, do take advantage of the tournament and the tournament tickets that you guys currently have. Not sure when you guys are actually going to get another opportunity to do this, because I mean, the last tournament was not for many months ago. So so yeah, I mean, I don't really foresee our opponent winning. Hopefully he's not just wasting time right now, because I mean, there's no point. There's absolutely no way he's going to win. And if he actually does start to waste time, I'm still going to wait it out. And it looks like he's actually going to go right ahead and grab onto our Lucario EX. Okay, so that's actually not something I foresaw. Looks like he's trying to prolong his death. Again, I don't really see our opponent winning right now. So I'm actually going to go right ahead and use the Ultra Ball, just to see what we actually see. Actually, no, it looks like we were able to draw onto the end, so we are going to win. So let's go right ahead and bring the Lucario EX into our hand, bring out the Landorus EX, and dish out 30 damage and knock out the Yveltal EX for the win. So really hope that you guys did enjoy this video. I know that it's definitely a long video, and let's just see what we actually got in our mystery box. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, and I will see you guys next time. And it looks like this is the prize booster packs that we got. Flashfire is not particularly good, but the other packs are definitely quite nice. So that's pretty much it, guys. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.